Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into slow productivity.
Slow productivity.
Like slow food, but for getting things done. We're going to see
Yeah.
what Cal Newport has to say about it in his book, Slow Productivity, The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout.
Interesting.
We all know that feeling, right? Like we're constantly busy running around, putting out fires, checking things off our to-do list. But at the end of the day, we don't really feel like we've accomplished anything meaningful.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling all too well.
Well, Newport calls this pseudo-productivity, and he argues that it's a symptom of a bigger problem. We're trying to apply an industrial-era model of productivity to the way we work today, and it's just not working.
Hmm. In what way?
Think about it. In a factory, success is measured by output, right? The number of widgets produced. But most of us aren't working on assembly lines anymore. We're in knowledge work, which is all about creativity, problem solving, coming up with innovative solutions.
Right.
That kind of work just doesn't fit into neat little boxes or time slots. It requires a different approach, a different pace.
So how does this slow productivity thing offer a different approach? What's the alternative?
Well, one of the examples Newport uses is John McPhee, the Pulitzer Prize-winning writer. McPhee is known for his incredibly detailed and meticulously researched books, and he spends years, not weeks, on a single project.
Years. Wow.
Yeah, years. He really takes the time to immerse himself in his subject, to think deeply, to let the ideas marinate, and the results speak for themselves.
That's pretty amazing. But, I mean, not everyone can afford to spend years on a single project. Most of us have deadlines and deliverables and, bosses breathing down our necks.
Well, that's where Newport's 3 principles of slow productivity come in. He argues that by focusing on fewer things, working at a natural pace, and obsessing over quality, we can actually be more productive and fulfilled in our work.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's break those down. So the first principle is do fewer things. What exactly does that mean?
It's about being ruthlessly selective with our to-do lists. Identifying those high-impact tasks, the ones that truly align with our goals and have the greatest potential to move us forward. And then saying no to everything else.
Easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. But Newport offers some really practical strategies for doing this. Like, he suggests regularly taking stock of your work and asking yourself, if I could only accomplish 3 things today, what would they be?
That's a good one. Forces you to prioritize.
Exactly. And it helps you to cut through the noise and really focus on what matters most.
Okay, so do fewer things. What's the second principle?
The second principle is work at a natural pace.
Work at a natural pace, okay. So what does that mean? Are we talking about, like, taking more breaks or...
It's partly about that, yeah. It's about recognizing that we all have natural peaks and valleys in our energy levels throughout the day. And instead of trying to power through those, we can actually be more productive by aligning our work with those natural rhythms.
You mean, like, if I'm a morning person, I should schedule my most demanding tasks for the morning?
Exactly. And if you find yourself hitting a wall in the afternoon, maybe that's a good time to step away from your desk, take a walk, do something to recharge.
It makes sense when you put it that way. It's not about being lazy. It's about being strategic with your energy.
Exactly. And the third principle is obsess over quality.
Obsess over quality. Okay, tell me more about that one. That sounds a bit intense.
Well, it's about shifting our focus from simply getting things done to creating something we're truly proud of.
Oh, I get it. It's like taking pride in your work no matter what it is. Like,
Mhm.
even if it's just answering emails, you can still do it with the sense of craftsmanship.
Exactly. And Newport argues that this mindset shift actually leads to work that is not only more satisfying, but also more impactful in the long run.
It's like we're shifting from quantity to quality, right? It's not about how much we get done, but how well we do it.
Exactly. And that can be really freeing. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a never-ending to-do list, we can focus on doing a few things really, really well.
I like that. So how do we actually put these principles into practice? Like, how do we start incorporating slow productivity into our daily work lives?
Well, Newport offers some great practical tips. One of my favorites is what he calls a highlight system for your calendar.
A light system. Okay, what's that?
Basically, you identify blocks of time in your schedule that you can dedicate to focused work on those high-impact tasks we were talking about earlier. And then you literally highlight those blocks on your calendar, making them visually distinct from all your other commitments.
So it's like a visual reminder to yourself to protect that time, to make it sacred.
Exactly. And it also sends a signal to others that those highlighted periods are non-negotiable. You're less likely to let a meeting or a less important task encroach on that time if you can visually see it staked out on your calendar.
That's a great idea, especially for those of us who work in environments where meetings tend to rule the day.
It's like building a fence around your most valuable work time, protecting it from the distractions and interruptions that can derail our focus. And speaking of focus, what about that second principle, work at a natural pace? How do we figure out what our natural rhythms are and then structure our work accordingly?
Well, it starts with paying attention to your energy levels throughout the day. When do you feel most alert and focused? When do you hit those slumps where you're struggling to concentrate?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have those.
We all do. Once you start to recognize those patterns, you can begin to structure your day in a way that capitalizes on your peak performance times.
So, like, if I know I'm a morning person, I should schedule my most challenging tasks for the morning and maybe save things like email or routine admin work for the afternoon when my energy is lower.
Exactly. It's about working with your body's natural rhythms, not against them. And this might also mean adjusting your sleep schedule or incorporating short breaks throughout the day to recharge and maintain your focus.
It sounds like it's all about being more mindful and intentional with our time and energy instead of just trying to push through exhaustion.
Absolutely. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Okay, so we've covered do fewer things and work at a natural pace. What about that third principle, obsess over quality? How do we make that shift from just getting things done to creating something we're truly proud of?
One approach is to start thinking about your work as a craft. Whether you're writing code, designing a marketing campaign, or even just answering emails, approach each task with the intention of producing something exceptional.
So it's about bringing that same level of care and attention to detail that a master craftsman would bring to their work.
Exactly. It's about taking pride in your skills and constantly striving to refine and improve them. This might involve seeking out feedback, studying the work of others you admire, or simply taking the time to reflect on your own work and identify areas where you can do better.
It's interesting how this idea of slow productivity seems to tie in with the slow food movement. Remember, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. Both movements are about slowing down, being present, savoring the process, and focusing on quality over quantity. That's a great connection. And it highlights how this shift towards slowing down is becoming more relevant in many areas of life, not just work. It's about recognizing that sometimes the best way to achieve truly remarkable results is to slow down, pay attention to the details, and focus on creating something truly exceptional.
It's almost like a rebellion against the cult of busyness, isn't it? Slow productivity is about stepping off that treadmill and saying, no, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to take my time and create something I'm proud of.
It's inspiring, for sure. But, not all of us have the luxury of spending years on a single project like John McPhee. How do we make these slow productivity principles work in the real world with all its deadlines and demands?
Right. Well, the good news is that slow productivity isn't an all or nothing proposition. It's not like you have to completely overhaul your life to reap the benefits. It's more about finding ways to incorporate these principles into your existing workflow, even in small ways. So it's more about making adjustments, shifting our mindset, rather than making drastic changes.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with your time and energy, even if you can't control every aspect of your schedule. Like, one simple but powerful technique is what Newport calls the do not do list.
A do not do list? Okay, I'm curious. What's that all about?
It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a list of activities that you consciously choose to avoid because they drain your energy or don't actually contribute to your goals.
So it's like a reverse to-do list. Instead of things we need to do, it's things we're giving ourselves permission not to do.
Exactly. Think about it. What are those activities that consistently pull you away from your most important work? The things that leave you feeling drained and uninspired.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Like, for me, it's definitely getting sucked into the endless scroll of social media or saying yes to meetings that I know aren't going to be productive.
Right. Those are perfect examples.
Yeah.
So you put those on your do not do list, and then you make a conscious effort to avoid them.
That actually sounds incredibly liberating, just giving yourself permission to say no to those things.
It is. And it frees up your time and energy for the things that really matter, the things that align with your values and your goals.
I love that. So the do not do list is definitely going on my do not do list. Any other tips for incorporating slow productivity into our daily routines?
Well, another simple but effective strategy is to schedule regular breaks throughout the day, even just for 5 or 10 minutes at a time.
Breaks? But what about the pressure to be productive, to always be on?
That's exactly the kind of thinking that leads to burnout. Our brains are designed to work nonstop. We need time to rest and recharge. In fact, short breaks can actually boost our focus and creativity in the long run.
That makes sense. So it's not about slacking off, it's about being strategic with our energy.
Precisely. And what you do during those breaks matters too. Choose activities that help you disconnect from work and clear your mind. Take a walk outside, listen to music, meditate, or even just stretch and move your body.
So we're being intentional. Even with our breaks, it's not just mindlessly zoning out, it's about actively choosing to do something restorative.
Right. And one more thing. We can't talk about slow productivity without talking about technology.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. It feels like we're constantly bombarded with emails, notifications, social media updates. It's hard to escape.
It is. But you can create boundaries. Set specific times to check email and respond to messages. Turn off non-essential notifications. Consider using apps that limit your access to social media during certain times.
So it's about taking back control. Right. Being more mindful about how and when we engage with technology.
Exactly. And remember, incorporating slow productivity into your life is a journey, not a destination. Don't try to do everything at once. Start small, experiment, and see what works for you.
It's about finding what feels good, what helps us feel more focused and fulfilled in our work.
Exactly. And remember, slowing down isn't about being less productive. It's about creating the space and the energy to do your best work.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. Thank you for sharing your wisdom on slow productivity.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this exploration of slow productivity. It's a powerful philosophy that can truly transform the way you work and live. Until next time, happy diving.